watch all day out in the street, mouth just running like the night. When you better hold on to the seat, cause it's gonna be a bumpy ride. Cause the one can do it like a boy, like a cork, like a rock and do it. I'm just like an animal, applauding to get some vibes. You know I'm ready for action, just like freedom. Greetings, greetings. You're listening to Keeping in Touch with My People. This is Elizabeth Hansen Watley, your host on WSTX AM 970. Numbers here 340-773-0390, 340-773-0490. Of course, you can catch us live on StreamYard. Look for WSTX AM 970. And on my Facebook page, look for Elizabeth Hansen Watley on your Facebook dial. Yes, you know how we started it here. Happy birthday. I have to send out a special happy birthday to Nancy Paulino and all of you celebrating birthday this week. Thank you so much for understanding that it's a blessing to be on this earth every second of every day. Happy birthday to you. Birthday to you. And may all your dreams come true.
You want me to move? We get to know we have an appointment. So I didn't know how long you want me, and I told my husband to pick me up by 11. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah. Can I help you? Should I? Let me read. Yeah, you know what? We got some things in our house. Renovations. Okay, that's better.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. What's your comment?
Oh. Okay.
Ready?
Yes. Yes, yes. Happy birthday. Many, many blessings. Loving you. Sending my appreciation to all of you and special happy birthday to Nancy. Yes. She has been riding with me since I was a little girl, and around supporting mommy and continues to support me, and I appreciate all of that. I have a very special guest in the house. There's so much things that's going on in our territory right now. When I invited the Honorable Senator, for those of you who can't see it on the live and you're just listening on the radio, I have Senator Maurice James here in the studio with me today.
Morning.
Yes, and so when I invited you, that vote didn't take place yet with Water Island, and none of all of that stuff took place.
That's true. Nothing had taken place. That's right. That's right.
But the stars have aligned. I know you weren't present at the
no, I was not. Yeah, I was not.
But it has taken a life of its own. And anything with a long lease is very controversial. And I have my own opinion about it because I'm very, like I said, anything within 99 years of anything that have to do with our land, I am like, what's happening? And the amount of land on Water Island, when I saw the map, because apparently it was a smaller area at first, and then it expanded.
Yeah, it did.
It tremendously. And so I did see a few videos with some people from Water Island that were concerned about the fact that this one entity would have the power to have leasing power over the majority of the island. So I didn't get into all the details of the actual agreement, but that gave me pause because it made me think a century of one entity having the power to dictate what's going on that island is concerning to me.
Yeah, well, thank you for inviting me. And I was on with Jamila before, and somebody called in about Water Island. I said I didn't know
the details.
I didn't know that. Well, I wasn't prepared. Okay. So I'm going to give you my perspective, which is different, I think, from most. I think most senators, a lot of the senators, and you expressed it about the concern of the 99 years. Because I am a real estate attorney, I am used to 99-year leases. Not with the government, because now I'm in a government, but
Right.
I am very used to 99-year
Yeah, you're
leases
familiar with it.
between private entities,
Mhm.
I have seen where on this island, people have actually given 99-year leases to other people of their land because
Yes.
the person will build and they're seeing the landowner. Let's look at it from the landowner's perspective because now that's the difference with the government. The
Mhm.
landowner usually says, I don't have the means to develop this piece of property.
Right.
Um, you want to come and develop it. I'm going to give you a ground lease, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
You're going to pay me for 99 years on this ground lease.
Mhm.
Usually, though, the ground lease is negotiated at a really good, with good terms for the landowner who's thinking about his
Longevity.
and his family, right?
Right.
And knowing that for next, let's say I entered into a 99-year lease at the age of 40, and I say, well, I hope to live 40 years, right?
Mhm.
So for the next 40 years, I know that this entity that I am entering into this lease with is going to pay me money, guaranteed funds for the next 40 years.
Mhm.
If they default, I'm going to get that building that's
Right.
on it. I
Yeah.
mean, you negotiate it in such a way that you protect yourself as a landowner because the bank now also, if they're lending them money, they want to make sure that whoever they're lending the money to build that property will be able to pay it. And
Right.
so eventually, if I am 40 years old and I know I'm going to live to be another 40 years, 80 years, right?
Mhm.
And my children, I'm going to leave this property to my children, and they're now also going to. And I saw this happen in real life,
Mhm.
in real terms, because I actually did a deal where the person built the beautiful building.
Mhm.
I'm not going to call it names because we actually see it every day on St. Croix.
Yeah.
And he died. He died within a few years of I'm trying to think of when I remember the deal starting. And he died within a few years, but he left the the lease that he had to his children. And his
Mhm.
children turned around, got income from that lease, right? And then and actually I'm talking now about the person who was leasing it as opposed to the landowner. The landowner always got the money.
Mhm.
The leaseholder left it, and it benefited both the landowner and the leaseholder, right?
Right.
It's a little different when it comes to the to government. So
Right.
I'm not going to
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Because
you're more
and I'm
concerned.
happy that you express that 99-year leases aren't a new thing.
No, they're not. No, they're not.
However, in this case, we're talking about almost an entire island.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that means that this entity would dictate more or less what happens
Oh yeah, yeah. They
with
would.
that with Water Island
They would.
for 100 years.
They would.
And so
Except that remember they also want to, and they have to go to interior for approval.
right.
They actually want to sell
Mhm.
the lots that they're going to get if interior approves it to individuals. So at that point, when they sell those lots, well, they won't be lots, it'll be condos, right? Condo units.
Mhm.
They will no longer be involved in ownership, right? So they'll kind of own the hotel for
Mhm.
99 years. But those
Mhm.
people who they sell to will actually own whatever units they buy outright. Now the developer though, I think will what the develop how the developer will remain involved with them, and that's left to be seen because I'm not on that side, the
Mhm.
private side, but they usually have homeowners association fees and dues.
Right.
You know, that was actually my concern when I saw that the government had negotiated where they would give 10 units to veterans and
Veterans,
10 units to of
middle
middle,
income. Mhm.
because most of us know and that those people will be subject to homeowners association dues. Now most of us know that there's a reason why some of us don't want to live in condos, right?
Correct. And it could be very costly.
Oh, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Very.
And we
Yes.
know that the common man usually can't afford it.
Yeah. They don't. You give me a condo, and or I buy a condo, and I've had clients like that here too, that said, Attorney James, I want to buy this condo. I said, well, if you want to buy the condo, I hope you have the cash, because if you don't have the cash to buy it, and you go to the bank, and the bank gives you a mortgage, and the mortgage is, let's say, 2,000 a month,
Mhm.
you have to consider that you might have a homeowners association dues of 1,000 a month,
Yes.
meaning every month you have to come up with
Yeah,
3,000.
a good bit of change,
Yeah,
and many of
yeah.
many Virgin Islands doesn't even making that.
That's that was
You know,
an issue for me.
and so my issue is we just created a long-term middleman. So you have to go through this
Well,
entity.
that's interesting that you put it like that.
Yeah. So that means I have to come to you to do anything on Water Island.
True. No,
You
right now
know?
you're right about that.
Yeah.
You are
And then
right.
when I looked
You
at
are
the
right.
map, I said, but this look like almost 90% of the island. I mean,
We were trying to, I'm going to go back to, and really, Jamila had done a little more in depth than I did with it's like 490 acres. And then you would have to subtract the acreage that the current residents have,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
And then the acreage that we're given to the developer, which it's likely the governor is going to sign it because it initiated from
Right.
from his administration. So how much land is left? And then there are certain areas that are protected environmentally.
Right.
So yes, it's going to turn out to be an island that is dense. I'm not going
Sugarcoat.
yeah, thank you.
Yes.
I'm not going to do that. So that's one of the concerns that the current residents had, that it will become, similar to, in a sense, in Hamas,
Yeah,
right
which
across the water.
everybody's kind of trying to run from because
Right,
we
right.
overpopulated.
Yeah. Given the size of St. Thomas, we were talking about it, me and my daughter, about if you look at St. Croix, which I mentioned earlier too.
Mhm.
Um, the My daughter recently went to the Bahamas, and she stayed on New Providence Island. That is the size of St. Croix.
Mhm.
Think of this too. That island has 300,000 people living on it.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Whoa.
and
I
we
wouldn't even want to.
we only have 40 at St. Croix.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there is, though, in thinking about that, room for expansion on the island of St. Croix. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, but most of us Crucians,
Mhm.
we don't want to see it,
Well, I never say
right?
most, I say many.
Many,
And because I think it has a lot to do with what type of development we get,
right?
right?
I
We
agree.
want
I
to
agree.
maintain our culture and authenticity.
That's exactly right. Yeah,
And we don't want to lose what Synchro is as home.
right.
So we have to be cautious. And there are some developers in the researches that I have done
Hmm.
throughout the years
Hmm.
where they study a particular location. Let's say Charleston, for example,
Okay, good example. Yeah.
and they try to maintain the culture and the historic
Hmm.
portion, and it
Right.
helps them because in
Right.
their tourism,
Exactly.
it's around that.
Right.
So
Right.
I think we're very similar in that way. Where
It's a
we
good,
could,
yeah, good
yeah,
analogy.
we
Yeah.
could look at Charleston and see where they needed the development. They did not stop the development, but they maintained the culture and the
Right.
authenticity of the place, and they utilized it to promote their tourism.
Exactly. But see, Elizabeth, most people, leaders especially, have to think like that, right?
Mhm.
That we know what St. Croix has. We love it.
Right,
We don't oppose development,
right,
but we want to do what is best for the people who live here. We want to protect the heritage, the culture, exactly what you just
yeah.
said, and we have to think along those lines.
Mhm.
Um, in a sense, St. Thomas is a good example of what can happen. And let me say this though, you also have to look at the people, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people in St. Thomas like it the way it is.
They
They
like
do. They
the
do.
busyness of it.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
and
And
that's
it's
fine.
because culturally we're different.
There you
Like
go.
you said, the
There you
people
go.
are different.
There you go.
As much as we say we're one Virgin Islands, everybody knows that St. Thomas is different. The culture is different.
Right, right.
So everybody, many people in St. Thomas have multiple jobs, right? It is
Exactly.
a norm.
It
over there.
is. It
It's not
is.
the norm in St. Croix.
Right, right.
Partially because we don't have the amount of access to those jobs.
Yeah,
But in
yeah.
addition to that, we ain't want our whole day, night, everything. We want to
That's
cool out. We want to hang with the children,
It's
and we
true.
like to cook,
Right, right.
and so the culture is different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
That's true.
so when we want a little splash, we come over, but we coming home. Okay, I tell people I visit.
I like how you said that, though. I like how you said
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
but it's true. That's why we have a vibe.
Right. Right.
That's
right.
why tourism took up the whole vibe thing.
That's true.
You
That's
know,
true.
we can't find much words to describe St. Croix except for it's a vibe. It's a
Yes,
feeling. You
yes.
can't really put your finger on it, but you know
Right.
it feels different.
Right.
You know?
Right. And we have to stop pretending. And I agree. I agree with what you just said. This one VI thing, don't get it, like we just said, twisted, right?
Yeah, they want a cookie cutter. It can't work.
It can't work.
No.
It can't work. And so I think that's why, if you look at that, what happened with Water Island, um, five of the Centromians plus Senator Angel Borges wanted that development to happen. They wanted it to happen. I have a big concern from the time I entered into the Senate about the structure of our government, especially the legislature, and the fact that you could have the seven St. Thomas senators and the St. Johnian vote for something for St. Croix. And the flip.
I'm happy
and
it
the
went
flip.
that way
And the flip.
because last week on my show we spoke about a caller asked me about if I would be a proponent of at-large senators, right? And I said, in all honesty, I would support something like that. And here's why: because just like you're speaking of now, without letting you finish that, I'm gonna say
Yeah,
my
go ahead.
my assumption
Yeah.
that we can't hold them to task if they vote for something that we don't like.
That's exactly right. That's
And
exactly
if
right.
you're all at large, then we gotta swing at it, and you're gonna be more concerned about how the people feel and how it impacts us
That's right.
because we vote for you.
That's right. That's right.
And so I've always leaned towards that we should do that, but in the environment we're in, I know it's not a popular thing.
No, it's not. It's not.
And our sister district usually gets what she wants. And
That's right.
And
That's
so
right. That's right.
the people tell me all the time, no, it ain't true. St. Thomas don't have more votes. It's one district, St.
It's
Thomas
one.
and John.
Yeah,
let's
that's right.
do
That's
the
right.
math, people. Come
Right,
on.
right, right.
You may not want
right.
to say you have a advantage, but we know it's an advantage.
Yeah, we know. I mean, I immediately, within the first 3 months of my being in the Senate, I said, oh no. I used to hear Mario Moorhead on the radio talking about, the representation about, first of all of us know that local needs are best met at the local level.
Correct.
Here you go now, and you have where my needs are being addressed territorially by people who don't live my experience, right? And so
you might not even be familiar with
cheese and bread.
Your island.
At all. Some people are not. It's the same way how I feel about St. Thomas. Sometimes I go, I don't really know where that is. I don't really, somebody needs to tell me what part of the island that is.
Give you some guidance.
Right.
Yeah.
I am not a person who, when I was in the Virgin Islands National Guard, I got to know St. Thomas a lot more because I was part of the Guard and we had to go over to St. Thomas. But that's the extent of my understanding of the island of St. Thomas. I will tell anybody that. I know St. John more because I had two friends who were at George Washington University with me, and I would go over to Coral Bay, and then it's a smaller place too because it is 2/3 of the island, so it's easy to know. But St. Thomas, I never really, So sometimes when I am voting on something for St. Thomas, I have to ask my St. Thomas colleagues to explain to me, well, why don't you want this here?
Mhm.
Because they know that's their district,
Right.
that's where they live. And that's why I have a problem with the structure of our Senate, of our government, in terms of we don't really have local government.
Right.
We have territorial.
Right.
That's what we have.
And the other thing was, another way we could have addressed it is make the at-large person be open to being voted, well, running from any one of the islands.
That's an excellent point. Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so
yeah.
therefore, even if that district was, had won the election, okay, for this time you might get some benefit. But if St. Croix has somebody that win, then they get a benefit. I think that might be a little more balanced than just saying they have to come out of St. John, knowing it's one district.
No, nice one. That's good point. No, nice one. It's one district.
Well, so
Yeah.
my concern with Water Island is that this could happen in any one of the islands.
It can. It can.
And it's
It
scary to me that we could, and that's why I say the legislature wields a lot of power. And sometimes we have to think about what's going to happen beyond our years, right? When we
Yeah,
say a
yeah,
century,
yeah.
we don't know what might change. We don't know
We don't, right?
who may, what decisions may be done with the entity.
Mm-hmm.
It will long
True,
outlive
true,
us.
true, true.
And we're putting something stapled that will not be adjusted in a big way for a very long time.
Yeah, um, it really for me because of my background in real estate, and you hit a really good point about we don't know what the entity will do, and you hit a really good point because of my background, and I want people to understand it from this perspective. We have had developers come to the island of St. Croix.
Oh yes.
They have carved out certain subdivisions.
Mhm.
It's kind of interesting. I love the fact that I love being in real estate isn't even more so about the real estate so much as for me, the history of the properties is the most interesting thing whenever I do a closing. So let me give you a good example. There's some areas of St. Croix that people came here, just like how we were talking about people going to Water Island.
Mhm.
Okay, they weren't able to do it on Water Island because ultimately it was owned by the Department of Interior. But here on the island of St. Croix, we have people who subdivided and created covenants and restrictions.
Mhm.
Okay. Sometimes when you read the covenants and restrictions, you know that it was written at a time of,
Non-inclusion.
there you go,
Mhm.
perfect word.
Mhm.
You even see where they would say that the only thing that you can build, let's say it's 1 acre lots, right? Or 2 acre lots. Right away, you know who could buy 1 acre, 2 acre.
Right.
But in the covenants and restrictions, you see where they say you can build one house,
Mhm.
but you're allowed to build servants' quarters.
Mhm.
Every time I come across that those types of covenants and restrictions, and I look at the time, which
Mhm.
is 50s and 60s in the Virgin Islands, you then know, and I'm going to say this, you also see where in some of these developments, if you decide to buy in a development like that, and I'll say this to people, you have to read the covenants and restrictions. You can't decide to move into a development and think you could do what you want. So your point is well taken that in fact, once this developer controls that particular land, property,
Mhm.
that in fact they can write covenants and restrictions into the deeds that they're going to give.
They get to dictate the rules.
That's exactly right. You're right.
And
And,
that's
and I understand why that's a concern for you. Now,
no, that would be and my thing is, like we spoke about earlier, we sometimes we're not familiar with the other district, and they wouldn't be
right,
familiar with us, right?
right, right.
So I like to look at the facts of something.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the perception for a lot of people is that Water Island is only for Caucasian people
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
people of a certain monetary status.
Right, right.
And so there's an automatic, we don't care what happened to those people over there because they ain't want to be there. But not everybody thinks that way.
Right,
There are people of
right,
color that live on Water Island.
right, right,
And it's still, even if I felt like that personally, I don't think that they should get an unfair shake.
right. I understand what you're
And
saying.
so,
I
if
understand.
even one resident says, I have a concern with this,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that it's 99 years,
Right,
that
right.
would give me pause.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
don't live on Water Island.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have to deal with what comes with whatever development is taking place, and we don't actually know. We know on the surface, but we don't actually know what else they have planned. Once they have that ownership per se, they kind of have their free will of doing certain things.
If they in fact get the ownership of the lots, because again it has to be approved by the
Interior.
interior. I think the people of Water Island, and we need to make this clear, they did not object to the hotel development
Right.
because I think they realized the economic. Well, first of all, let me say this, I did not go on the tours that were conducted by Senator or arranged by Senator Angel Bokes. He had arranged a few tours of the island, and because of my schedule, I wasn't able to go. But I had actually gone to Water Island when I was Miss Virgin Islands way back in
Okay.
1981, 82, and to the hotel. It was beautiful. It was I stayed. I remember he wasn't my husband then, he's my husband now. But we went over and we had a wonderful.
Congratulations, you locked up though. I tell people all the time, I love when people could get to the finish line. I look at my parents, listen, this is a little sidebar. Right?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
People tell me, how do you feel that your parents were together for so long and I think they married for like about 47 years or something like that. A solid marriage.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I tell people all the time, I was happy to have a glimpse into a good union.
Right, right.
And
right.
a good union
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's perfect.
That's exactly right.
But the fact that you could love somebody beyond all of their flaws
Yes,
for that
yes,
long.
yes.
I
Yeah,
mean, even when my mother passed and my father wrote that letter, let me tell you, I have
yeah.
to edit that thing because you could feel the love, but
Right,
he
you could
got
feel
so
it, right?
intense in it.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
could tell
yeah.
you what she had on when they met,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
her
yeah.
hair
yeah.
was cool,
Right, right.
you know, the
yeah,
feeling he had when he
yeah,
saw her.
yeah.
And I said, I always
You
appreciate
just give me goosebumps. You know why? You take me back to a memory of your mom.
Mhm.
Um, it was at DV. It was a okay, and I think it was in 2022 when I was running.
Mhm.
There was a event for veterans.
Yes,
Yeah,
at dinner. Yeah.
yeah, and the booklet she had
A picture
shot
of my
of your
dad.
dad. Oh, you remember that?
Of course.
Oh man, let me tell you. And when she
It was
got,
huge.
it was yeah, and
You couldn't miss it.
handsome man, right?
Yes.
There he was on the back, and when she got up, I said sometimes there are moments in life that I think, and maybe, I mean, there are a lot of moments that he has,
Mhm.
but for me, that moment showed me the depth of their love, right?
Yeah.
Because she spoke about it when I get goosebumps because
Mhm.
we are all humans, we forget that, like you said, we all have flaws. And when two people come together and they're able to have such a long union and be supportive, your dad was like the rock, right?
Yes. I tell
Um,
people all the time, the Chucky Hansen, could not be that person without my father.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I mention it all the time because people don't think of your human side.
Yeah, they don't. They don't. Yeah.
I tell people that my mother was elected before I was 2 years old.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I
And
didn't know that.
so this was my entire life.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I had to walk a fine line. I mean, you don't get to make the mistakes. You don't get to
yeah,
be the
yeah,
child.
yeah. You don't.
You
You
know,
don't.
and but one thing I knew is I never felt afraid when my mother left, because my father was such a
He
solid
was there.
father.
Yeah.
And I tell people I appreciate that even more now because I have so much friends that didn't have that with their
Well, I'm gonna flip this on you. I'm gonna be the interviewer for a minute right now.
Okay.
Okay. Knowing all that your mom went through, and you at the age of 2. Now, I didn't have that because I did not grow up with my father, so I didn't have any of that. I didn't have what you had in terms of your parents, which is
Yeah.
good. My children have it because
Yeah.
of my relationship, my marriage.
Mhm.
Um, but knowing all that your mom went through, why would you decide and what you had to go through because you had to you must have had a lot of sacrifices. Why did you decide to run then?
I think
I
that,
just need to know this, you know?
well, the funny thing is, I get this question all the time, but I'll tell you this. When you try to run away from something, it comes right back at you.
Yeah,
When I
yeah,
was a kid, someone told me that I didn't take it on at the time. If you had met me even 10 years ago, this would not have been the path. I
you
would
would
have
not
said,
have.
you crazy. I ain't ever.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
saw what my parents went through.
right.
People don't understand. They see the shiny things and they think that's their whole life. I
Yeah,
think
right,
now that
right,
you've
right,
experienced it,
right, right, right.
it ain't so I go.
Yeah,
We had death threats. We couldn't ride the school bus.
yeah.
Somebody tried to kill my mother a few times. She got
What?
ran off the road. Yes, people don't know because she didn't talk about it publicly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
loosened parts on our cars.
Oh man.
It was intense. But and for that reason, that's why a lot of times you don't see offsprings of
That's true,
senators
you don't.
get into public
Right,
office
right.
because we don't talk enough about the experience,
Yeah, yeah.
and everybody thinks it's a great one.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But when your parents have to sacrifice, you have to sacrifice
Right,
equally.
right, right.
You can't trust everybody because
Yeah,
you don't know if
yeah.
they're being authentic.
Right.
You don't know if you confide in somebody, it comes back to your entire family. Right?
True, true,
All of these
true,
things.
true.
But what I understood is I tried to run away from it in my young adult.
You did.
I just wanted to work, not be seen, blend in. I tried it in
Yeah.
high school too.
Yeah, yeah.
Did not work
It
out.
didn't work out.
They wouldn't let me.
I was gonna
be
say, how did
great.
that work for you?
They didn't let me be great. It don't help that I walk around with her face.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I had to make up my mind because people expect certain things of me. And at first, I resented the fact that I had to sacrifice so much. That my mother was the people's own before she was mine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But as I got
yeah,
older
yeah.
and I realized the impact that she had
Mm-hmm,
and the reason for the sacrifice.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And the fact that even now that she's gone, people come to me and just hold my hand. Sometimes they just cry, they don't say nothing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I say, okay, I get it. I felt like observing the environment now,
Mm-hmm,
observing home and the disappointment in a lot of areas,
mm-hmm.
the fact that people are seeking someone that is going to really speak from their heart,
Yeah,
care
yeah.
about the place, be authentic,
Mm-hmm,
and look out
mm-hmm.
for them. And they kept asking me, I said, no, I got it from behind the scenes. I don't mind giving an idea and so forth. And then I realized, you know what? Sometimes giving your idea doesn't mean it's going to come to fruition.
That's true. That's true.
And
That's
after
true.
years of giving my suggestions, assisting, helping behind the scenes, and realizing it didn't get into the goal because sometimes people are so afraid to lose their position
Well, hey,
that
yes,
they
exactly.
won't carry it to the finish line.
Yeah,
And for me,
yeah.
that was raised around somebody who didn't care about that.
Right, right.
It's hard to sit back and say, okay, this could have been done and this would have benefited everybody, but you're so worried about yourself.
Right, right.
When you are in a position of serving the people,
Yeah, yeah.
I say, you know what? They ain't gonna let me be regular. It ain't gonna happen. It's not in my stars, right?
No, it ain't. No. Okay.
So if I don't go through all of this heartache and pain anyway,
Yes.
I
Yeah.
might as well invest in him. And I feel like I have the skills for it. It's funny, sometimes your parents teaching you things and you don't know.
You
You're
don't
like,
know.
Ma,
Yeah,
why
yeah,
I have
yeah.
to come to everything? Why I got to do
Right,
this?
right.
Why I got to sit down and draft this and oh, okay, you point on this paper when you come back and I come to the blue, this and that and learn it. And I didn't know she was teaching me, but she was teaching me. And then one time
Interesting. Yeah.
I said a joke. I said, Ma, I gonna run for this, and she jumped back
Yeah.
and she said, yeah. No, my mother never encouraged me to run for the Senate.
She didn't?
No, she
Okay.
said, Elizabeth, this is a dirty business.
Mm-hmm.
People
Mm-hmm.
will try to take you out. And
Mm-hmm.
she didn't
Mm-hmm.
mean take you out the Senate. She meant take you out of this world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so she had that fear. But when I got older, and I tell people all the time, I used to hound my mother about working for her because I used to be with her anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
helping her anyway. And I
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
Mom,
yeah.
instead of me going to a job and then coming and staying up all night, we could do this time. She said, No, you ain't ready yet. You ain't ready yet. For all of them years, you
Yeah,
ain't ready
yeah,
yet.
yeah.
And in her last term, she said, You ready now.
You actually worked with her in her last
Last
term.
term.
Wow.
She only had one chief of staff and that was in
Okay.
her last term.
Mm-hmm.
And she,
Well, then you were able to see
yes,
how it
from the
really from
inside
inside out.
yes.
Yeah,
And that's
rather
why I
than,
said
because
sometimes
before
the
it was
training
outside
you.
in, and now it's the reverse.
Well, the thing was, technically, it was always inside
Well,
because
yeah, so
she
that
would take us to work and she would sit me down and we would go through bills. She used to ask me, well, what do you think about this? How you? And then I became like an advisor to my mother.
okay, got
And
it.
I
Yeah.
started, I didn't see it as that. It was just us talking.
Right, right.
And then I realized she really listened
Yeah,
to
yeah,
my opinion
yeah, yeah.
and moved on a lot of things. And I brought some ideas. She brought it to the Senate floor and stuff. And um, she valued my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what it is to be around a powerhouse,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And then they
yeah,
stop and pause and listen to your suggestion. I
yeah,
felt like, oh
yeah,
gosh,
yeah. That's interesting.
you know?
Yeah.
So I decided because I want to give back to my community. I think that I can't be selfish in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Mm-hmm.
children here.
Mm-hmm.
I have a family legacy here, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see it lost
Yeah, yeah, I
because
understand.
of selfishness. Because I could do better and make as much money outside. Money is not a thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't raised to think about that. It was family
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and longevity and respect for culture. I tell people all the time I never met my grandparents in life.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
No.
they passed before I was
Okay.
born, but
Yeah.
everybody I met, Miss Crystal baked my wedding cake. Then I found out she was the first one to have a booth for the
The
festival.
festival? Yeah,
Yeah, she
yeah.
created
Wow,
that whole
interesting. Yeah,
idea.
yeah, yeah.
And then they said, Miss, your grandmother had loved music. When the music passed by and passed her boot, she leave her cash pan, everything, and she
And
got
gang
on
go
the road.
dance.
And then somebody run and said, Miss, you leave the cash pan. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
in my
That was
blood.
a
It's
different
in
time
me.
though, eh?
Yeah, oh gosh,
When you
yes.
think about it.
But even I'm only 41 and I'm seeing things gone that I
That you grew up with
experienced.
and you
Yeah,
I know I agree with
and
I agree with that.
I think we need to stop that.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
said if I could just affect that kind of change
Mm-hmm.
where
Mm-hmm.
we could remind people that we have culture and authenticity here, that
Right.
it's
Right.
important,
Right.
that we need to teach our children about it,
Mm-hmm.
that we need to put people above self,
Right.
because
Right.
who gonna do it?
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
I watched your service in the legislature and I see a lot of times you bring forth things and of course part of it is them knocking it down and the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
nine. Although
Yeah,
you're
yes,
in
yes.
the Democratic Party.
Right, right.
And I tell people ask me why you didn't run as a
I
Democrat.
actually was just going to ask you that. So you read my mind.
Yes, and I'm getting a question and then I tell people I could have done that. And I don't think I would have had a hard time getting to the primary, truth be told.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, I don't want to be obligated to anybody but the people. And for me, that meant I could do it on my own merit without any affiliation and let
Oh,
the people
interesting. Okay,
decide
okay.
who they want.
Mm-hmm.
But I can only vote for Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I battled with it for a long time because I was a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, is the party holding true to my beliefs right now? Because a lot of us are Democrats, but the image of the Democratic Party in this environment isn't always holding true to what we believe.
I I I can't disagree with you on that. I cannot disagree with you on that. I think for a long time you would hear the party saying one thing and then doing another, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of people or holding some people accountable and not others.
And then we have
And
people running as Democrats that aren't true Democrats
right, yeah,
because they see a benefit in associating with the party.
right, exactly. And there is a benefit in the sense that there are more registered Democrats
Right.
than any other. Well, I don't. The independents probably are starting to now come close, but the Democrats still
But
are
the thing
the
is,
majority.
yeah, they are the majority. But the thing is this: that doesn't mean that they vote Democratic.
No, they don't.
Um,
I mean, if you look at well,
some of them
look
just
at
want two swings at the pie, right?
your mom always ran as an independent.
Yes.
Okay, so she's an example. In the Senate right now, Frankie Johnson,
Yes.
he has ran as an independent and has been successful.
Correct.
And St. Thomas, Dwayne DeGraff, and Alma Francis
Francis
Heiliger
Heiliger, yeah.
have run because if you think about it, my problem with really the system again is that you really need to have opposition.
Mhm.
You really do. I don't like and I don't like the idea of we sometimes we celebrate and we did. Check this out. We celebrated that we had a governor who was Democrat. We had a delegate that was Democrat, and we had a majority caucus of
In
12
the
of
legislature.
12,
Mhm.
12 that were Democrats.
Carlos,
And,
I'm coming to you shortly.
and if you look at the election that we just went through,
Mhm.
there was all this um I don't even know what a word is to use, rancor or what it was, where I felt really sad in a way that we were all accusing one another. I mean, I didn't run, right? Of now working
No,
together.
but you have to say we because you're a
I am a
Democrat.
Democrat, right?
And this
Yeah,
is my point.
yeah.
I could talk for Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are a Democrat, sadly, even if you're not in agreement, you get put in the bunch, right?
Right,
Because
right.
as much as I say I'm not in agreement, I'm a part of the group
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I'm a Democrat.
yeah, yeah.
And so
But we
if
should have,
I'm not in agreement,
yeah,
because if your direction is that no matter if you're a Democrat or not, you are going to go against the party. You are going to go against the democratic ideals, the belief system, and just do your own thing. Then why are you a Democrat? You know, just because of the benefit, it seems.
all right, good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Good
So
point.
if that's the game that's being played now, I don't want to be a part
I
of
see what
it.
you're saying.
And it's
Yeah.
distracting because you're correct. It got very nasty, and it
Mhm.
continues to be nasty, even though the primary is over.
It can, wow. Oh, that's sad
Yeah,
to
I
hear.
have been seeing online that people still slinging all kind of things.
Yeah,
And
nastiness.
again,
Yeah.
we're in a position, I believe, that this is a make it or break it moment for Virgin.
I definitely believe that.
And we
Yeah,
don't have
we are.
time for the pettiness.
We are. This is an inflection point, right?
Yes.
And we need to recognize it. But I going through that primary season this year, it was embarrassing to hear leaders talk about, oh, you want to be a Democrat when you want to be a Democrat, you're not a Democrat, oh, you're accusing the Democrats and not doing anything, but you are a Democrat. You just hear Democrat, Democrat, Democrat.
And they proved my point. They proved my point. And that's why I said, you know what, it was hurtful to me because I was a registered Democrat for many years. But I said, Elizabeth, I had to really sit down. I prayed on it. I spoke to my dad about it, you know, and we went back and forth, you know. And then he said, you know, I respect your decision. What you feel in your heart, you go with that. And I said, Daddy, win, lose, or draw, I don't feel confident in doing something like that when what I'm seeing is a bunch of foolishness that is taken away from the people.
I understand.
While we were in the primary, the mudslinging seemed to take over more than the issues of the people.
I was, like I said, I was very sad about the direction that it was going in. I was very I at the end of the day, I feel strongly, and I think you do too, about our people that people don't usually see. They're not seen, they're not heard, they're not valued. I'm going to keep saying that. I want senators who are going to see, hear, and value our people. People who don't donate to your campaign.
The least among us.
That's exactly right.
The least among us.
I feel strongly about that. and I it has become a just paid. I'm supporting you because you're gonna give me a job. I'm
Right.
supporting you. Um,
And while that has always existed to a certain extent,
it's gone out of
it's
control.
out of control.
It's out of control.
And that's why, that's one of the reasons I'm running, because I feel like somebody needs to look beyond self,
Yeah, I agree. I
and
agree.
when it gonna stop? I could sit on my radio station for years and talk about it, but what am I really doing
What are
to
you
change
doing?
it?
Yeah, to change.
And I thought about it long and hard. I mean, I made sure my children were already out of high school because I know
Hmm.
how dirty they could get even in school.
But that was a good move, by the way.
Yeah.
Especially because you went through the opposite, right? You said you
Oh,
weren't even 2 years old.
yeah. And
Um,
the thing was, I was able to tell my children how nasty it was gonna get, and they lived it.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
able to
yeah.
warn them, and they lived it. I mean, adults would come and tell my children the craziest things. I had former teachers, I had very good ones, and I had some of those that if I didn't have a strong family base, I would probably be on the street walking barefoot
Yeah, yeah,
on
yeah,
drugs
yeah,
because they told
yeah.
me I'd never be anything
Wow. Oh,
while I was a little girl.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because sometimes people's hatred towards your parents, they can't get to your parents, so they don't dare tell them things, but they figure they tell a child.
Actually, which is yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
able to be in a position where I lived it and I warned my children, although it was hurtful when it happened to them, they were prepared for it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And they came and mommy, this, that. I had people fail my children, try to fail my children out of going to school.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
I had somebody put a box on top of my son's head. 7 boys beat him up in school,
What?
and they wanted to put him out of school. He was in elementary.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
They were bullied the whole nine. So I waited till they graduated high school
mm-hmm.
before I even opened the consideration. I said, if this is in you know, my journey, I need to make sure my children are okay.
Yeah, yeah. Good move. Good move.
And the other thing is, I need to be able to dedicate my time because being a
Right,
senator,
that's true
as you
too.
know,
Right, I was gonna
is
say.
all day, all night,
Yeah, if
365. If
if
you're
you
doing the
are,
work,
that's right. I need
if you're doing the work, because I
yes,
can't speak
that's
for
right.
everybody.
That's right.
But the person that guided me, trained me, and raised me, she was a workaholic. My mother would only sleep when them eyes shut down. She couldn't keep them open
Keep on keep
anymore.
open. Yeah, yeah,
She
yeah,
her
yeah.
she wasn't a big eater. eh, You know, she had coffee. She would always have her crackers, and she had to have a Coca-Cola and ice, and the Coke in the can had to be cold. She didn't want a bottle of Coke.
Oh,
She
okay,
was
okay.
very specific. My mother, people, I I tell people I'll share a little something about every once in a while that they didn't know. My mother loved Kellogg's cornflakes.
Kellogg's Complex.
Cornflakes, yes. And one time my mother called me to get her cornflakes. And I went to Plaza and I didn't get Kellogg's.
Oh, you didn't. You get the wrong one.
I
You get no
I
name
said
brand.
this no name brand cheaper.
Yeah, yeah,
My mother could tell the difference. She said, "This is not." I took it out the bag and everything. I
yeah,
pour
yeah,
it in
yeah.
the
You pour
bowl.
it in the bowl. It didn't work.
She said, "What the hell is this?" I said, "Ma, that's a conflict." She said, "This is not conflict." I said, "Ma, you see what it look like it's conflict." She said, "Elizabeth, go back to the store
And buy
and
Kellogg's.
buy Kellogg's cornflakes
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and hurry up because now you make me wait longer."
yeah, yeah. Elizabeth, my time.
Yes,
I have an appointment, and little did I know that it would go so fast. To be
yes,
honest with you,
yes. So I
um,
enjoyed. I thank you so much for taking up my
no,
invitation.
I actually feel really good about coming on because, especially since I am a teacher at heart.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it was important for people to understand what's happening on Water Island, what could happen
Yeah.
on St. Croix, and understand the concerns people have with the 99, with the developer, as you saying, having the control.
Mhm.
Those are some of the things that we have to remember at the end of the day. Listen, my thing is, if the government decide and the Senate voted for it, I wasn't there that day. They felt, and I say this all the time with whether it's elections, you elect people, they're now my representatives.
Right.
Okay. And I hope that they do well.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they do well,
Then all of us
do well.
Yeah.
At the same time, I always hope that they consider the consequences, the long term, the generations to come, the generational effect, right?
Just like we talk about generational wealth, we have to think about what decision we make affect negatively
generations. Yeah. So time will tell. I gonna end with that. Time will tell.
Well, let me see. Greetings, John. Keeping in touch.
Yes, good morning, Liz.
Yes, greetings. I'm here with Senator Maurice James, and she's running out the door. So if you have anything to let her know, I ain't gonna hold her up to that.
Don't let her run. Hold on there because I've been trying, and Jamila would not let me talk without this
Well,
morning.
go ahead. She has 1
you
minute.
have 1 minute.
Yes, okay, good. Well, Senator Maurice, you said this morning two things that piqued my interest. Because I've been wondering all along, why would you decide to leave the legislature when you're doing such a good job?
That's a good question. I'm gonna have to let you go on that one. You had one more, and then I'll let her answer.
Okay, and the fact Liz, that she's a Scorpio like us. She said,
"Oh yeah,
I am.
When is your birthday?"
I actually am on the. As a matter of fact, this is what's interesting about me. I was born on November 22nd, right?
Oh,
so when I am right there on the cusp. Mm-hmm. So when I was a child, and I give you this story. Nothing done when I was a child. I think I was in college, and I said to my mother, "Well, I noticed when I look at the horoscope, sometimes November 22nd is Sagittarius, sometimes it's Scorpio." So she said, "Well, you need to tell, if you ever get it done, you need to tell them the time that you were born and the place that you were born." So I said, "Okay, let me settle this once and for all." Mm-hmm. Well, I am actually something that's rare if you believe in horoscopes and zodiac. I am a triple Scorpio, which means my sun is in Scorpio, my moon is in Scorpio, and my ascendant is in Scorpio. I am actually, because I went out the time I was born.
Wow. So okay. What time was that? Since you're
6 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
So I was, you understand?
Closer to
the November 20th.
Right.
So I am, so you're a Scorpio?
Yes. I'm on the 19th.
You're my best friend. Wow, my best
friend. That's why we get along so well. Well, Carla, I don't have to let you. You could call me back.
Yes. Well, I didn't know that.
November 10th.
Oh, he's November 10th?
Yes, he's a Scorpio. That's why he's telling you that.
Okay, good.
Call me back. Let me.
Because I have to run out.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, I want everybody to know that I really feel good about the fact that I did run and I served, and I feel like I passed in the legislation but I think at this point in my life, there are things that I want to do outside of the Senate. I said this before, and I'll say it again. My family didn't want me to run again. When they wanted me to just do one and done. It was like, no, because of what was happening.
Yeah.
At that time, you remember, like you see how you talk about the nastiness. As you know,
they really came for you.
They did.
They did, and it's the first time I've seen it in a long time. Yeah. I want to say that. Now, my mother was very controversial. She would come in with she every day, but we were so used to that. Mm-hmm. I mean, she served 11 terms. We were used to that. Yeah. So, like I said, we understood. Yeah. And I'm gonna say this on the record. I've seen your children in passing, but we haven't had a real discussion. But they defended you well.
Oh, they did.
And they didn't.
Thank you for saying that.
Because I know how it feels, and I know that other people might get real grimy, and it's I think it's a good reflection of who you are as their mother.
Thank you,
and their
Elizabeth.
father.
Thank you.
That they kept it classy. But they made it clear you ain't gonna disrespect my mother.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for saying
and
that.
It's hard to keep it up and up because you have to also consider what people, when you talk, it's like you're talking for your mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to
yeah.
be careful.
Mhm.
You don't want people to say, "Oh, your children did this," and
Yeah.
because that's coming.
That's right. That's right.
And so you have
Yeah.
to know how to finesse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they did it great.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I want to
And
wish
then
you
it
the
have to be
best.
hard.
Yeah, because
Thank
you
you.
are now doing the same thing that your mom did, putting yourself out, knowing
Yeah.
what you will be receiving and
I'm kind of surprised they didn't really come for me. They must be doing it behind the scenes, but you know.
you're strong though.
Yeah.
And now I know you're a Scorpio. Oh,
Yeah,
look
yeah,
at
yeah.
that.
You're all in your face.
In my, but yeah, thank you so much. Let me get a hug. I
Yes.
like to hug people. I'm a hugger.
I'm a hugger too, and
All
be
right.
safe out there.
Yeah,
And thank
thank
you
you.
for your service.
Thank you.
Right?
I appreciate
In,
it.
in a multitude of ways. But thank you.
Thank
All right.
you. All right. Take care.
Okay. Greetings. You're on. Keeping in touch. Greetings.
What's going on?
I am here standing. How are you?
Hi there, thank God. Cause down out the studio and I wanted to put on the spot,
Well,
but
I could always invite her back, but tell me.
good morning, good morning.
Good morning to you.
You know, she definitely represented. I thank her very much. You know, I know they came for her, especially when she wanted to give the average employee an opportunity.
Right.
You know, they didn't want, unless you go through the suffrage, unless you know, spend a lot of money, and they didn't want to give the average man or woman an opportunity. You know.
You know, I'm happy you mentioned that because it came to me this morning that, it was hurtful to me that they did that. And it's not because I am running in this cycle. It's because, because this is something they could have done that would have changed the dynamics of politics and representation in our home. This would have helped a lot of younger individuals to partake. This would have helped a lot of people that may have certain skills that we need in the legislature to partake. And to do such a selfish thing, it was, I think, beneath them, but it showed me their character. I'll say that.
And you know, it was surprising because you talk about the Democrats, but independents were a part of that too. You know, some independents, in my opinion, felt well, I suffered, so you need to suffer too.
Right. And I agree, and that's why I said they. I didn't say Democrat. I said
no,
they.
No. Yeah. But when earlier you were talking about loyalty.
Oh yes.
There's no loyalty at all. Look how people leave the party, go and run independent, come back in the party, and still get top vote. I mean.
Well, the thing is, people are going to vote the way they're going to vote. But then, if you give the person a top position, given that they turn their back on the party, just because of whatever their case is, that says a lot too. So the people gonna vote for who they gonna vote for. But if the party representation is going to go along to get along, based on a friendship or some connection, again, when people ask me why I'm running independent, is because Elizabeth could only speak for Elizabeth. And my whole point of getting involved is for people, not for no party politics, not for some independent business, no anything like that. I represent everyone.
Well, I commend you
because I appreciate that.
When you do switch, I think it sends a message that you're willing to pledge allegiance, and if you don't pledge allegiance, well, you get one term and they put you aside. But
well, my thing is, I can't pledge. I am about pledging to no organization. I am pledging to do the work on behalf of the people. And it's not that I am so anti-democrat. Like I said, I was a Democrat. But what is being represented now, I'm not in agreement with, and I'm not hiding it. I could have hid it, ran as a Democrat, and gotten the benefit of the Democratic Party. I chose to make it very clear that I'm not in support of certain things that are taking place.
Yeah, that's it. Mm,
And
that is
whatever the
correct.
the people decide, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, that it is true, but it's just to show you people nowadays they don't flip so easy like a light switch. They could go whichever way they need to go.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really stand on no principles at all, and it's sad to watch her leave, Maurice. It's sad to watch her leave. Yes, she listened to her family, got her family been there with her,
Yeah.
supporting her, and she have great young children. So
Mm-hmm.
they probably want more time with her, and it's
Yeah,
all
and
well and good.
everybody knows their path. You know what I mean? It is. This is not for the weak of heart. I tell people all the time. We see the shiny things, and people say, "Oh, you're getting this benefit
Still
and
I want
that."
for me,
But at the end of the day, this is really about sacrifice. If you're going to do it the right way, let me say that. If you're going to do it the right way, it's a lot of dedication. It takes all of your time, all of your attention, and I can understand and I respect her decision to move along because her family needs her and she has to deal with them. And that's why I tell people all the time that I didn't run into this situation. I had to think about family. I had to pray about it. I had to make sure that my private life was in order so that I can really dedicate myself to this journey. It's not something easy, and some people take it willy nilly because they are unaware. But because I was blessed enough to be a part of my parents' journey through this whole process, I am well aware of what it takes and what the sacrifices are. And it's not just yourself, it's your entire family, And so I really had to sit down, me and God, and come up with a plan. So I am confident now that I could be focused, I could be stern in my ways, I could say what I want and mean what I say, and be confident in it, and not be worried about certain things happening. Um, and I move forward. God is in control of everything, and I always put Him first. And so when me and God had that discussion, and I get to go ahead, I go ahead.
Well, she just finished telling you, you're strong, right? So, and that's what you won't have to have in there because you won't be a lot of dirtiness, I believe. You won't have to give and take because that's just the name of the game.
Well, yeah, I don't want anybody to have this idea that I can't work with anybody because they're Democrat or ICM or Green Party, whatever party. That's not the point. The point is for me, my priority is the people, period. Now, I mean, look at all that my mother was able to accomplish without being affiliated with any party. It's about being able to work together, work for the people, and put your egos aside. And I mean, when the time comes, when you have to serve, you do what you need to do to serve. This isn't something that's new to me. I know how it works. I've been around it my entire life. In addition to that, I'm a chairperson of a board. I am used to having to work with other people. This ain't new. The thing is, as long as it's good for the people, we gonna work together and make it happen. If you're
But
going
God
against
bless
the
you.
people, I have a problem and I'm gonna say what the problem is. It ain't gonna
But,
be no secret.
but God bless you and thank you for stepping up. Your generation, there are a lot of you guys around here, and a lot of your generation are not involved.
Correct.
So hopefully, with your leadership, and you need to be the people's voice in the sense that, right? They say people will follow leaders, right? But our leaders don't lead.
Yeah.
So with your generation being on the sideline, like they're spectators, if you are given the opportunity, you need to lead. You need to come out, stand up with the people, stand up for the people, stand up with the people, and be seen in the community. Don't be afraid to come out of the community because a lot of these people, a lot of these leaders, afraid to come out of the community. They will do
That's
things
funny.
in
I
the
spoke
dark.
about that last week, and I told
Yeah.
people. I mean, we used to go up and down. I remember we used to be walking in Williams Delight in the night, and all of that. We walk through Kennedy, we walk through water. God, we listen. I tell people I don't know this. I don't know where these people get this idea that you could have constituents that you wouldn't even have a conversation with. I mean, what you that I mean.
The coward afraid to come and.
But why? Why you really? I mean, listen. I done St. Croix my entire life. Ain't no place in St. Croix free to go. People
Yeah,
are seeing all kind of place. Why you there here?
Yeah, well, let somebody else get it, but you stay blessed and
yes.
good luck, and looking forward to giving you my support too.
Thank you so much, man. God bless
All
you.
right.
Yes.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Greetings, Ron. Keep it in touch. Greetings. Please turn your radio down.
No, I'm
Oh,
here.
Oh, you're outside.
I'm in the capital actually.
Oh, well, my piece, they're going to say you are St. Tomian soon.
Right, I know. Some people think I am. I'm in the street.
Yes.
And no, the streets here are not paved in gold, okay? For those of you who have never been to Rock City. As a matter of fact, I talked to many St. Tomians, and quite a few of them think that St. Croix has better roads.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
Yeah, wow. But we all facing the same issues here in the territory.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, the biggest concern is the WAPA situation because that impacts everything.
Yes.
And that, definitely healthcare.
Yeah.
And the senators, well, we elect them to represent us. We're not going to always agree.
Right.
They're one of the most controversial legislation that recently passed is the one with the 99-year lease.
Yes.
And you hear the pros and cons. And like I said before, we, for the most part, don't look beyond 20 years. But to me, that for 99, that's looking to the future generation.
Well, that is a fact. We won't be here in 99 years.
I know, so it's not for us.
No.
It's for them. And I hear the argument we're giving up something. I'm trying to figure what is the something we're giving up.
I took my time before I posted anything about this. And for me, my fear, if I had to fear anything, is that I looked at that and I said, suppose I was St. Croix.
Mm-hmm.
As simple as that. Suppose I was St. Croix. And I'm not saying that we couldn't come to a legitimate agreement, but I'm thinking if we gave away 90% of St. Croix to another entity for 99 years, how would we feel about it?
Okay.
What would we be in for another 100 years? And that is, again, what gives me pause. Now, it might turn out to be something great for Water Island, but giving one entity that kind of power, let's see. I just, when you think about it that way, if you give away that amount of land on St. Croix, it's like you give away the whole island, right? So that was the thing that kind of, when I looked at the map, I said, oh, what would our ancestors think about us now?
Well, I mean, technically, I don't know. It's a different dynamics here on Water Island. It's good to hear from the residents.
Well, I saw a number of videos they posted online, and it's like, again, like Senator Maurice James said, the initial agreement showed the hotel development area, which was a lot smaller when you see it on a map than this new amended agreement, right? Drastically different. So a 99-year lease for our hotel I mean, is something that isn't new to us here in the Virgin Islands. But when you start to talk about the majority of one of our Virgin Islands, um, that's a whole different story. And I know a lot of people may not feel anything about it because many people that live in the Virgin Islands have not been to Water Island, and so it's like okay,
Right.
them people over there.
That's
But
what I
like
said. You have a different perspective from the residents.
right, but again,
And that's why
suppose
what we losing. I personally don't feel like losing anything. I
right
mean, the
because
Virgin
you don't have
Islands,
no
United,
attachment to it.
yeah.
But again, that's why I the first question I said, how would we feel in Synchro if if that determination was made for us?
I would feel wonderful. We get a hotel here and sing, right?
Not it's
After
not
the
just a
water,
hotel. It's a whole. It's some entity getting majority are synchroid. That's what you need to think about. Suppose I said I given authority to sell real estate to an entity from all the way down in the tip of Frederickstead, come all the way up to about Creamos Park. Well, how would you feel about that? I can't think of anybody who would feel okay about something like that. And like I said, it could possibly go right for them. But again, I don't live in Water Island. You know, I know if it was St. Croix, it'd have been big problem.
Also, great. I know it's very divisive over here. Some people like they always register, but
Yeah,
I
and
look
that's
at it
part
this
of
way.
our problem. We are so divided.
But this is how I look at it. The Virgin Islands of the United States is an unincorporated territory.
Mm-hmm.
Congress control it.
Mm-hmm.
They Article 4. They have the power to dispose of the territory. So I look at it that if it's going to generate revenues, I don't think we're losing anything because we never owned it in the first place. It was purchased. The Virgin Islands was purchased for $25 million, excluding Water Island. I don't know how much was Water Island purchased for.
Yeah, that's a good question. But it's another
I think that
authority of
70
interior.
million or something. Anyway, but what I'm saying is for these kinds of themes, we have to definitely have the historical background and
Mm-hmm.
what's there to us. And that's why I asked, what are we losing? Because I can't speak on behalf of everybody. Everybody got their own perspective, but
Mm-hmm.
we have to look at what we're losing and what we're gaining. And ultimately, with any deal, sometimes you actually will never get one in which everybody's satisfied. The best deal doesn't exist. The ideal in which everybody say, wow, the government came out and the Greater United States. I don't ever see that happening because there's two sides on the table and you got to negotiate, you got to compromise. And so I think the worst deal, so it's no deal at all. What if it didn't happen?
Well, the thing is, when you allow for the majority of a island, you know, a lot of things came to my mind, right? Let's talk about what people like to call Epstein Island, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the travesties that took place on that island. And at the end of the day, it was not under the protections, I would say, of the Virgin Islands, in that that was owned by a person outside of us. And so he did what he want, when he want, how he want on that piece of land. The same thing can be possibly said about what's going to happen on Water Island, right? Because we're leasing it out for 99 years. So, and I'm not conflating the two, but I'm just saying the possibilities are endless when it comes to giving somebody else the handle and you taking the bleed. So while I say It may work out for Water Island, right? I am just in generally saying. I prefer that our government has a say in what's going on as far as um, the complete landmass. I'm never a proponent so easily of giving away such a wide a piece of our land, and it's becoming a little bit of a trend these days. And I just know I am not from Water Island, and so I don't know. Um, but that doesn't mean I feel detached in a way that I don't care what happens to people on Water Island, or I don't care about their opinions. That's all I'm saying. Just like I would want them to respect and care about opinions on St. Croix. If something came about for St. Croix, that they say we care what happened to St. Croix because we don't ever go there. That's it for me. But like I said, time will tell what takes place. And then we deal with it as it comes. I mean, it's going to outlive all of us.
Yeah. Well, I would say we shouldn't demonize the senators for that decision because we have what is known as representative democracy. I'm sure they did their due diligence, and
you're really, you want to say you're sure?
Yeah.
You okay? I would say I would hope and believe.
Yeah, they did their homework, the research.
Okay.
They know it's controversial, and they know what these kind of deals. It may not be popular to everybody, but ultimately, I believe with such a numbers, 11 out of 14, that's am I correct? 11 out of 41 absent, right?
One absent, yes, correct. You're correct.
And
but what were the opposing people saying? Because I assume they did their homework too. Okay.
I spoke to a St. Tomian senator, surprisingly.
Okay.
Responded to my inquiry.
And what did that person express as
to why? He was saying it could be better. He didn't outright was opposed. The same argument, the hours could be better. The same thing like the DeAndre, it could be better. Of course it could be the better. But if you got to compromise.
Right.
And I'm just saying, when you sit down to the table, concessions are made on each side. And it's always you hear people, well, the government needs to negotiate from a standpoint of strength. And I said, what strength? They are broke. It's always a deficit. So what strength are they talking about? That's the main thing there.
But I will let you, I have to let you run so I can get this color.
Okay, but anyway, I just want to say continue to educate, enlighten, and inspire minds.
Thank you. Thank you. You too. And be safe over there.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Bye. Greetings, you're on Keeping in Touch.
Yes, Liz, quickly, if I may.
Go ahead.
I have to say something to that Water Island situation. And the reason I could say that is because I lived it. Back in the 60s, 70s, when I worked for WAPA, before being called back in 89 and 2005. I did a lot of work on the underwater cable to St. John. St. John got their own, to Water Island, as well as charting poles and transformers and wires over there to build a distribution system. The feeling with some folks in what I refer to as the white enclave, and yes, there are a few black folks that live there, but they're uppity folk, rich folk. And that brought people like you and me. And the problem was they would be glad to have me and my men, but only to finish the job. And come, let's take you back to the tavern. If it was not for, and I'm trying to remember, a very short white man. I think he was the master leaseholder of the hotel anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And a native fellow, Alex Donovan, from the British Virgin Islands, but has lived at St. Thomas for many years. He was the captain of the shuttle boat back and forth.
Okay.
And if it wasn't for those two, we probably wouldn't be able to get a drink of water without fog would be chatting us off the island. And to have, before I go there, quickly, let me go to the middle part. And I'm not sure about what role your mother played in this. You probably will tell me.
Mm-hmm.
But I know what role Senator White played in it because he was the author, or maybe the chief author of the legislation to build a moderate income home ownership program on Water Island.
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned before, in the 19th legislature, I was the executive director. After the term was up and it changed, I went back home to Houston, where I lived at that time. And it was there that I received a call from one of Senator White's people, a cousin of mine named Howard, was working for Senator White. And he's telling me, Senator White, with the new legislature, is chairman of the Housing Committee. And you is known as Mr. Housing, so he wants you to come to St. Thomas right away. I say, yeah, that's the listing of a class, but I must drop everything and come right away. Anyway, I did end up coming to St. Thomas, and he made me chief researcher for the Committee on Housing.
Okay.
So we finished up that legislation.
So what happened? Because I got some other things to discuss, but so what happened between then? If there was a development through a legislation,
yeah,
so
well,
did it pass?
I will tell you quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I truly don't know what happened because I never followed it, except that I heard Jamelia alluded to it this morning that the legislation is still there.
Okay.
So for this new legislature to forget that, pitch it aside, and just because some big developer come with a load of money to encourage a 99-year lease on that island, that's all I could say. And I'm going, is we could forget any home for Black moderate income people on the White Enclave. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. You can call back 340 773-0390, 340-773-0490. Greetings. Okay, I don't know what's going on with my phones right now, but let's see. Anyway, I guess that might have been the inception of the original agreement, and then they amended it to include more property. Something like this, as far as getting, I remember when they were dealing with the refinery sale, and they throwing in extra land where the homes were. It seems like the only thing they did not take was the school, which to me said a lot, because if you're wanting to say that you're going to pass such a deal for the refinery so that people can get work, but then they don't ask for the training center where the people will be trained to take on the jobs, it kind of tells me that your intent didn't seem to follow through. Greetings, you're on Keeping in Touch.
Yes, good morning, Elizabeth.
Good day, how are you?
Hi. Well, I hope and wish that you could achieve that goal that you set for November.
I appreciate that.
Okay, maybe we will have someone with the spirit of the one that was closest to you, I guess.
Mm.
in spirit and ability. Now, I remember the last time I heard you or spoke to you, you mentioned something about the Donald Trump who was taking away people's food stamps, right?
Oh, it's the cutting benefits. Yes.
Yeah. The BRI, I think you said it was.
Excuse me?
Was it something called BRI?
I don't remember it having an acronym, but go ahead. Mm.
Well, anyway, you mentioned something like that. And you also mentioned the people, because of something might have been, I don't know if it's the flags that he was flying or the people that you speak about or cussing Bad Bunny. Do you remember what is it they were cussing him about?
Oh, Bad Bunny from
Yeah.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
When he was doing his football show.
Yeah, the football show and
there was a lot of controversy. Many of those supporters of Donald Trump and the Republican Party were anti-Bad Bunny because they thought that he was not a representation of American people. And then well, that was the basis of it, that they felt like this was some sort of person coming from outside and that this should have been an all-American show, which they're sadly mistaken in believing that Bad Bunny isn't American. That's false. And what their perception of American is that you have a English speaking show that somebody that looks other than Bad Bunny, more Caucasian, is more American. And it's sad. Yeah, it's sad because Bad Bunny is American. He's born in Puerto Rico. He decided to do his show authentically in Spanish because it was a time of controversy and people, mainly at the time of Hispanic descent, being deported out of the United States, no matter what contributions they made. And so he became like the center of attention, and they even did an alternate halftime show, which didn't do as well as his. And Bad Bunny display that he did for the show was very reflective of Caribbean life and how, as a territory, he showed what was going on in Puerto Rico, which was very similar to what we could look at here in the Virgin Islands, how the houses looked, people cutting cane, the power lines, because we stayed without power for a long time after the storms. All of that stuff he reflected in his performance. And people just were anti other, like they like to call us, right? Although we have fought for this nation, we've always been a part of this nation's journey, whether people want to admit it or not. And we continue to contribute, even with losing lives fighting for this nation. So that was a whole thing that was going on at the time with Bad Bunny.
But I thought it was people here were cussing Bad Bunny because I'm saying, with all of the things that Donald Trump doing with the ICE and the taking away the little that people get, how they could, but then again, people is people, how they could.
I didn't know of anybody that was cussing Bad Bunny that I knew or that I came across. But so you're telling me some people did, they were upset with Bad Bunny?
Because they're upset because of what?
No, I'm asking you, you met some, you mean locally?
Yeah.
You ran across people locally that were upset with Bad Bunny as well?
No.
Oh.
I thought that's what you might have mentioned.
No. That was on the mainland. That was not locally.
And I go tell you this before I go, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can understand, but again, is a mindset of a certain people. America is always supposed to reflect or look like a certain group. Okay? And people, just like you said, people fought alongside and sacrifice and contribute to make it what it is.
But the thing is, America is a nation of immigrants. That's what it's called. So I'm not of the understanding of why people think it's legitimate to try to separate people because they come from here or there. Even though those are European folks, they came from outside. It wasn't so. But again, that's a long history of battles and so forth, and we already know what we're dealing with.
But that's what I thinking again. When this man talk about birthright, this and that, if in principle, if he had a German father and a European mother, he doesn't he fall in line with the same definition that he's trying to force on people?
Absolutely. And that's why we call it gatekeeping. So you get through, your family benefited, but then you want to block everybody else.
Yeah. That's why we say something about the individual that those who think of who is one-sided and for yourself, and I don't even know what it is. But it's negative. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good one. Yeah, so that is a part of what we're living in now, and that's why we have to be so careful about who our representation is, because things are gonna get rough, and we need to be stern on certain things and be united. Once this election is over, we have to be united and move forward, push ourselves forward, our community forward, because if we're seeing that in the mainland, all of these things happening, birthright citizenship is being questioned. I believe the Congresswoman did put out a statement because a lot of people were concerned that Donald Trump had recently written an executive order stopping, they said it's birth tourism, where you come into the country and you have your child and it becomes an automatic citizen. And she made some clarifications that it did not affect, I hope I'm not misquoting, but did not affect the U.S. territories' birthright citizenship. Um, but again, things that we did not worry about or weren't concerned about that had already been addressed, we have to now worry about and pay attention to. And I keep telling people, you may think because you don't live on the mainland, we don't have to be concerned with what's going on there, but it affects us, and a lot of times they utilize the Virgin Islands as is, a working laboratory. And so we have to be very careful. Greetings, you're on Keeping in Touch. Greetings, please turn your radio down.
Hello?
Yes, you're on live.
Yeah, Mom. What the hell are you doing?
I'm standing. How are you?
I calling from Rock. I was listening to the topic there, right? And I saying that one thing what black people must say, we sympathetic towards everybody in the world, but no one is sympathetic towards us. I'm a world traveler, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been Puerto Rico, Central America, this, England, this. And when you go down in Puerto Rico, go to San Juan, and people down there is the most racist people in the world. They have no love. Even if the Negro, them who live, I forget the part of Puerto Rico, they treat them like garbage down there. And my point is, with the whole thing with America and this, I think everybody from someplace, I get it. But they have to have some kind of control over who comes into your country. So that was getting beaten right now. Beaten from immigration. Back in the day when people came from Antigua, St. Kitts, and Lucia, they did it the right way. They went on to the embassy, they come up, and what they did, the rebel would have. They bought into what, and that's what we was pushing. I remember growing up, my mom wasn't from here. My father is from St. Thomas.
Okay.
And I remember she had to go down to the embassy and her sister had to leave her as a child and get born in Antigua and then come back to St. Thomas. You understand?
Yeah.
But I listened to the whole narrative of immigration. Did you see what's going on with the TPS program with the Haitian them?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you know them Haitian born the cross with Americans now, right? Because they call them American, they feel American blacks wasn't going out, they rebel for them, they call them nasty, they call them dirty, they ain't got no country to go back to. And if you know history, as I begin deep into it, everybody been indigenous around the world, black people been all over the world for any other person with straight hair and long hair. They taught us, but we come on slave. Everybody come on slave. People from the Caribbean take them up. But my point is, we so sympathetic towards other people that don't look like us, and we're the most talented people. We started civilization for everybody, whether it's Chinese, Japanese, the proof is there.
Yes.
But we always, and the next thing we do, we're talking about Donald Trump. We can't worry. You say, for me, we put our head on the United States, the person who owns us. But look at our local economy. I love St. Croix to death. And I love Crucian, because to me, Crucian harder and Tomian, and I have Tomian. Right? And I feel it do St. Croix so bad. I go over there, I say, Chess is over here. They're supposed to have a professional base for our field, a professional place to have cancer, poison, the whole place for donkey years, because our own people sell us out. But we ain't talking about that. And this Jeffrey Epstein thing, I'm going to get out now. Look how much senators involved in this. But we turn our neck. That's my friend. That's my body. This, my this. And the island dung in the dump. St. Thomas looking like garbage fans. I've never seen this place looking so dirty and nasty in my lifetime. Going on 60-something. I've never seen it so bad. People running around here doing what they want. Sewage leaking out of St. Thomas, leaking in by the legislature. You go, oh, the legislature, go by the right place anyway. So WAPA got a bad problem, and we have a sewage problem too. I'm just trying to say, we're sympathetic towards everybody who run our United States. We need to worry about what we're doing here in the VI and our horrible leaders we have here. Now, that's my friend and that's my cousin, and they're doing a horrible job, and we have failed miserably to govern ourselves. And I'm going to say it again, I went over to St. Croix several times to work, and I said, man, they're doing St. Croix so bad. It's horrible. And that's the things we need to look at. Not because he's my friend and you're voting for because he's a Democrat. That's the next thing. Look at who gets us down in the dump. The Democrats. The Democrats destroy the Virgin Islands. You understand? And I'd been a job there, I'd do a lot of monitoring. We have so much people that run around. From that big island, I have 23 million people, and it's combined, and they just keep coming and coming and coming and coming. You have to have, I don't care if it's immigration, this and be from someplace, you have to have some kind of hold on your country, because you have laws and you have tradition, and these people ain't going into your laws or your tradition. So I'm just saying, Bad Bunny, one more thing. Bad Bunny, that was a wrong time for him. 99% of the football fans, and that was a political move they did, is English. I don't understand that. I know fans people telling me they don't complain what you were saying. And I just feel it was wrong for them to put he on that big stage like that. 99% of your people, I know it's diverse to get people from. But no, that was the wrong thing to put here on that stage.
Well, I think that what happened is they wanted to make a statement. And they knew that people wanted, listen, at the end of the day, it's about money. And we know that. You think that he randomly popped up there? They knew that it was controversial and that was going to drive people to look at it. And it's about the numbers and the money.
I think it was beyond controversy. Beyond. Because when you were in somebody up there, you just puzzle the man was saying and what's going on. And like I say, 99% of your people, okay, you get a lot of people that get it. But still, 99% of the fans them for football is English. That's what I'm saying. It's a time and place. They should have done something on the side for he, but not for the main halftime show. I think that was crazy when they did that. I was puzzled. I was frustrated. I didn't know what's going on. You know, and other people I know who is Democrat too, and we do the fight, and they say the same thing. They say, but what they say going on here? This is crazy. Anyway, good show. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, and my whole point is we have to pay attention all around because it affects us. If we're gonna say what's happening in the mainland is not going to affect us, we're gonna be sadly mistaken. When we saw naval ships coming down to the Virgin Islands, it didn't come out of nowhere. It's because of what's going on in the world. When we hear reports on the mainland about them looking at our refinery here in St. Croix to refine crude oil, that ain't random. It's because of what's going on in the world. So we can't be ignorant to what's happening and think it's not going to show up on our front door. It's already here. And like the caller said, we've been neglected in a lot of ways. And I tell people all the time, it's not that we haven't had anything addressed, but just like every jurisdiction, we have trials and tribulations, and we have things that we need to improve, right? And so we cannot stand by and hope for better. We have to do something to make it better. A representation is an important thing because these are the people that are going to decide where we go from here. And we can't have people that are going to decide just based on, um, you know, not offending somebody or what benefit is going to be to them personally and so forth. We have to have people that are going to decide what's best for us collectively as a territory for the people. And when you see your people suffering, if you could sit back and see it and not even acknowledge it, something wrong. You turn your heart off. I just can't. I can't do that. It ain't in me. So, like I said, I read, I pay attention, I research, and I don't take the journey lightly. And the people will decide who they want to represent them, right? I tell people all the time, I am here to represent all people, not just some, not a party. It's people, and you take me as I am, and that is it. Now, there's something else I wanted to touch on. As we know, the primary took place. The victors are now known, and we have to now work our way to November. I want the voters to pay attention. I want people in general to pay attention. Pay attention to what's being said. Pay attention to who's prepared to lead. Pay attention to the affiliations, associations. Pay attention to the merit of individuals and their character. And I'm including myself. I am a candidate as well, and I tell people all the time, if you see me and you want to ask me a question, I have no problem with it. Um, you know, I welcome you asking me questions, um, and engaging with you. And what I don't know, I can tell you straight up, I don't know. I will go and find out. I'll research, right? But this is a part of the process. There are some people that won't speak to you because of what you look like, what neighborhood you come from, the whole 9 yards. You think you don't vote, you could vote this, that, the other. That ain't me. Whether you could vote or you can't vote for whatever the situation is, I ask for prayers. If you're unable to vote, that's fine with me. Prayers, well wishes, you could probably support me in a different way. And I appreciate all of that because all of us matter, no matter what your status is. We all live here, we're all one community, and we're supposed to look out for each other. It really gets under my skin when I hear people being dismissed. Oh, you can't vote, oh, you can't do this, and oh, you whatever. I find it to be very insulting, even to me, as someone who's born and raised here and can vote. You don't treat people like that. And if you are in a position where you serve people, you should know that it doesn't matter somebody's status. You respect people equally. This thing about us feeling like we could go out there and just demean people, disrespect people because we feel we can't get something out of them. It's foolishness. It's unbecoming of your position, and I am not with it. Some of y'all need to humble yourself. Greetings, John. Keep it in touch.
Even I talk to my people.
How are
Good
you?
morning.
Good day.
Yes. You recall a couple of months ago, I talked to you about the hospital, the elevator, stuff and that.
Yes. I went out to see it.
Yes, beloved. Now, why can't I about, right? These are the things that I, as a person, I vote for you at.
Hello?
Yes, I hear in the background, yes, the hospital, and and the retractive money and the income tax to as government employees and retired. And this home thing that we were supposed to build some home for the retired them and the people that earn to live in.
Yes.
That's why you are working. That's why voting for the Watley.
Hansen Watley, yes. Let me tell you something. I tell people a lot of times there's a lot of legislation in place that we're not following. The amount of homes that we should have available. And that's why I was so upset about us giving away that portion of land where it has residents on there next to the refinery. When we were in the middle of a house and continue to be in the middle of a housing crisis. I mean, it just didn't make any sense, right? And we have to develop this place and get people in homes. And I have some ideas because I think there need to be some incentives attached to some home ownership as well. For instance, we may not be able to pay our teachers or officers the best salary, but maybe we could offer a home or some special program where they could get, to build a house at an affordable rate if they pursue different careers and so forth. The seniors, I look at my father, Vietnam veteran, combat veteran. He went out there and he saw his friends and colleagues died, and he came back. And if my father wants to go to a veteran hospital, he can't do it here. These are the simple necessities, and I say necessities because for me those are necessities. Mental health, centers and clinics. We have a lot of people, and people taking it for joke. You see how much people walk in these streets? A lot of them could be productive citizens, but getting medication is an issue. Getting a safe place to stay is an issue.
That's why they hold you about it. We don't like our own. That's the main thing.
Well, we got to stop that foolishness. And at this point, we don't have the leisure of being against each other. You see what's going on in the world right now?
Exactly.
No. We have to get control of our place and not have people just surviving day to day. We have to thrive. This is the Virgin Islands. We are not the most powerful nation in the world. We got to come better than this. And this thing about just laying back and waiting 9 years for this and 10 years for that and 100. Listen, we got short-term things we need to do, like get a functional hospital. And it's possible. A functional hospital, someplace our mentally ill could go to and get resources and be safe. And someplace for our homeless individuals.
We got so much people running for these seats and nobody coming up with these things besides you. And when you call and I tell them about it, they're coming to your area with it. Look what they're gonna do. Vote for a woman for New York for governor.
Well, at the end of the day, the people decide, and I respect who they decide. But let me tell you this. It takes all of us, not some of us. This thing about not voting, this thing about not getting involved, I don't have to wait for the government to give me a broom to sweep my house. I could start there. I could buy a broom and I go sweep my house. And if I can't buy a broom, I go outside and get some bush like they used to do back in the day, wrap it up, and I sweep my house. I am tired of the excuses at this point.
You know about the struggle.
Yeah, come on. We living in a time now where we don't have the leisure waiting anymore. And we need collectively people that represent the Virgin Islands that understand this ain't some fly-by-night thing. This is an emergency. We're in crisis. Move forward. I don't want to hear about who you're with and who's sleeping with who.
From the world, I hope they're listening to you.
Well,
this is emergency, it's right.
We're going to push forward. November is around the corner, and I'm so grateful for your support in any way, even if it's just a prayer. I taking it in because God is the center of my world.
I give you all I give you so we can try to get back on track now. Because I listening to all of them I do and I ain't hearing what you want to hear.
Well, the thing is, we have to push. Listen, I tell people I don't mind showing people the way. I don't mind imparting whatever skills I've picked up along the way with other people because it ain't about me. If we're able to push forward, it helps all of us. This thing about who get credit and all of that, that's beneath all of us. We need to be making sure that people could survive, feed their family, be in a safe place, and thrive, man. It's too long we suffering.
Fun.
But thank you so much for calling in. I'm almost
Yeah, I
out of
don't call
time.
because I don't like what going on. I normally don't call. I call when I feel my pain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Painful.
yeah, man. But we gonna make it. Don't lose hope. We almost there. We gonna
I
turn the
don't give up.
corner. Okay?
I
So you keep the faith. Thank you.
stay strong.
Yes, thank you. You too. Yeah, man. I'm not one of those people that could just turn a blind eye. I've been through the trenches. I have seen you all out there can't turn on your lights. Some of you still using candle. People won't believe. They wouldn't believe how some of Virgin Islands are living, you know. And we are people that could be prideful at times, and we wouldn't tell people our circumstance. Um, but understand that I see you, even if anybody else doesn't. I see you. I know that there are people out there that are really struggling to keep food on the table, to have access to proper health care. You can't just jump on a plane and leave. There's no money for that. To get medication, keep your lights on. These are not willy-nilly situations that people could just deal with forever. You're holding on, but there has to be light at the end of the tunnel. And I believe truly we finally there where you get to decide now, even if you don't think for you, for all the other generations after you. This the open of registration is here again for the board of election. If you can legally go out there and register, please think about where we are now and where we need to go. Think about the safety, think about the education, think about the health care, think about those who sacrificed before us to have this ability to vote. And do your part because we can't do it alone. If you want to see better, more positive action, you want that at the end of the day, you could be proud to say, yes, this is my home and it's thriving. Go and register. Those of you that have registered before, make sure that even if you couldn't vote in the primary or because you're not a Democrat, make sure you verify your credentials are good. Things happen, we're all human. Make sure that you could get out there in November and vote because it counts more now than ever before. It counts now. I want to thank you all so much for joining me for another show of Keeping in Touch. I want to thank Senator Maurice James for being my guest today. All of you who called, and even if you're listening to me, you never call in, but I appreciate you. Get the word out. Elizabeth Hansen Watley is on the ballot. I don't have a number yet for those who keep asking. For the general election, we don't get our numbers until August 25th. And all of you who want to support all of us candidates, you could come out, see us pull our number, and then we push into November and beyond because we have to get it right this time. Thank you all so much. Those of you who are sending me prayers daily, I appreciate you. It's so many of you. I can't respond to everyone, so I'm going to say thank you. Keep me prayed up. God is in control of everything. We will make it and we will thrive again. Don't lose hope. I want y'all to know that is not becoming of who we are as a people. We always come out better on the other side, but we have to do it together. So hold my hand, walk with me. Even if you can't touch me physically, we are here in spirit. We're moving forward to make sure that we get back to where we need to be and thrive from here. Let's do it for our children and the generations that will be here long after we are gone. Let's do our part. Thank you so much. This has been Keeping in Touch with My People. I am your host, Elizabeth Hansen Watley, and I will see y'all on the campaign trail. Thank you. Greetings.
I am Elizabeth Hansen Watley. A senator not only controls the purse strings of the government, but advocates on your behalf when you need answers.
Thank you so much, Jen.
Unaffordable utility bills, poor health care, lack of resources for seniors, veterans, and